Celtics fans suspected of throwing bottle at Kyrie Irving, charged with assault and battery. First of all, suspected. It's on camera. It's not suspected. We saw it. New York Post. The knucklehead fan accused of hurling a water bottle at net star Kyrie Irving after Sunday's playoff game against the Boston Celtics will be arraigned Tuesday on one count of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, according to multiple reports. Boston police said 21-year-old Cole Barkley of Braintree, Massachusetts, was arrested at TD Garden after a witness reported he threw a Dasani water bottle that grazed the head of Irving. It's unfortunate that sports has come to this kind of crossroads, Irving said, where you are seeing old ways come up, underlying racism, and treating people like they are human zoo. In a human zoo. Kevin Durant added, have some respect for the game, have some respect for human beings, have some respect for yourself. Your mother wouldn't be proud of you throwing the water at basketball players. Grow the F up and enjoy the game. It's bigger than you. Sunday's instance was not the first involving a fan. During the playoffs, a fan was banned from the Madison Square Garden last week for spitting at Hawks guard Trae Young in Game 2 of the Knicks game, and the Wizards guard Russell. You know, we talk about popcorn. Yep. So what are your thoughts about all this stuff taking place?
You know, just because they're preaching about it doesn't mean it's going to go away. I was listening to the Kevin Durant quotes, and they act like their voice is going to make a difference.
Yeah.
There's X amount of idiots out there that they don't give a damn. This has been going on for a week now where it's been a big deal, and it happened last night. Someone stormed the court, and you know he was answering a dare, right? He was drunk. You could just see that he was laughing by the time he got onto the court. He knew he was going to be arrested. Kyrie Irving, that situation. Did you guys think the water bottle was full? I saw the video of it. I couldn't tell if that thing flying through the air was half full.
That's a good question.
I think it was a quarter full.
If it can go that far, it has to have water in it. It has to have weight in it.
Yeah. So what Kyrie Irving did first, though, is he wiped his feet on the logo. Not that that warrants, almost to be getting clocked by a water bottle, but, Celtics fans are nuts. I used to live in Boston. I used to be the sports anchor at Fox in Boston, so I've been in the middle of this. I'll tell you, fans are crazy. I'll tell you one story. The Patriots were playing the Vikings one game, and there was a fan from Minnesota that went there, and the Viking fans, sometimes they wear those hats that have the long horns, kind of that Nordic thing. It's just a thing they wear. So this guy felt something tugging on the back of his head. So he reaches back there to stop, and the dude behind him had a scissors and was cutting the ponytail off, okay, of the fake hat. Now, here's the problem. The guy that was the Vikings fan was a world-class surgeon. This guy went through his tendons on his finger, and he was serious. His surgery career was about over. So weird things have happened in the stands. That really truly happened.
Holy
Unbelievable.
moly.
Yeah. So this stuff does go on. Now, here's the problem. The NBA players, Kyrie Irving is the last one you want to have this happen to, because he's going to talk about it every single day. He's going to turn it into this huge thing where every NBA player has a target on them, and they really don't. These things are being blown out of proportion a little bit because they've been happening one after another. But, they did the right thing by arresting this guy, I think, to prove a point. So this dude is going to be in serious trouble. I would say that would be the only way to slow this thing down. But there is a very, very small percentage of people that are so stupid, so idiotic, and so brazen that it will continue to happen just because they don't care. So
good point. By the way, if you're watching this, I'm curious. Comment below what you think about what's taking place. Do you have a unique opposing view or anything else on what happened with the NBA and all these fans that are upset with them? Go ahead, Adam.
So they're clearly going to make an example out of this guy in Boston.
Okay.
I mean, they're charging him with throwing a dangerous weapon. It was a water bottle here, right? So
do you think that's the right move to charge?
Well, they're making an example with him.
Sure.
So
assault and battery.
Yeah, but do you think that's a good idea?
I think Do I think that throwing a water bottle at somebody is a dangerous weapon?
Do you think it's a good idea that they're?
Yes, they are making an example out of them. They're basically saying if you're going to do this kind of crap, be prepared to pay the. Yes, I do.
Okay.
But it is a slippery slope. All right, now you threw popcorn on somebody, now you're getting arrested for a popcorn. I think by far and away the worst thing that happened was someone spit on Trae Young. Keep in mind, we're still living in COVID, times right now.
That's absolutely ridiculous to me. What do you mean you're spitting on a player and the guy just gets banned from a Knicks game?
Yeah, and he's one of the most likable players in the NBA.
What are you doing spitting on? What are you doing spitting on a player?
What are you doing spitting on anybody?
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
It's almost like people haven't been out for a year and they forget how to act, because that's literally what happened here. But I think a bigger story here is that when you think nobody's watching, you think you can act tough. It's sort of the Drake's famous line, trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers. It's sort of like you're keyboard warriors, and if you're in the masses and no one's gonna see it, let me just talk shit. Let me spit on somebody. Let me throw a water bottle. No one's going to see it. But the problem is that you're forgetting is there's cameras everywhere. Everything you do on social media, everything you do period, is going to get caught. So Charles Barkley had a pretty good recommendation. He goes, this punk ass, take him down to the locker room and let him have a one-on-one conversation with Kyrie. Let me know what happens to this guy in Boston, right? So that's obviously Charles Barkley. The other side of the coin here is that, talk about level of pettiness, is how petty can we go here? Because Kyrie, obviously, he'll turn anything into a racial issue. None of this, to me, is anything racial whatsoever. These are just idiot fans doing idiot things with idiot tendencies. But now the Celtics fan base have started a petition, talk about pettiness, to charge Kyrie with aggravated assault because in 2018, he threw a basketball into the stands when he was upset. He threw a ball. So now, you know, how many times?
Good for the fans.
Do you think that's good?
Phenomenal.
To charge Kyrie
Absolutely.
with why? Tell
Absolutely.
me why.
I'm gonna tell you exactly why. Let me tell you. It's Monday. When do we do Jennifer's baby shower? Was it Sunday
did it
or
Sunday.
Monday? We did it Sunday. Okay, we're at the house. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's up there, you know, you're trying to change the diaper, which we realize if you haven't seen, I mean, if we pull up Adam's video, do you have Adam's video with Adam's try to put the clothes on of this kid? If you don't have it, do you have it? He can pull it up.
I am not for hire to change your kids.
Yeah, he's not. But
diapers,
but here's the thing. What I liked about it is you were so proud of yourself.
I thought I did it.
You had a moment where you're like,
I
what do you
thought
mean?
I beat Mario.
What do you mean Mario beat me? I'm done. And it's like the
kid
whole
was
pants
dressed.
is not
Oh, I
wrapped up.
believe
You know
it.
the buttons on the bottom
Yeah,
you got to
yeah,
put by
yeah.
the diapers. He didn't put that up there.
I would imagine he mummified the baby, right?
I
mean,
wish you could have seen
looked like
it.
somebody taping an ankle.
It was a proud. It's like Nick Young when he shot it. He turned around. He held the three up as if he made it and didn't go on. That was Adam. He just kind of held the three up.
I learned when changing a baby, it's as an adult, you put if you put your underwear on first. That's first, right? You put your pants on or your shirt on first. What do you do?
Well, for the baby, you got
No, for you.
Oh, but this is a
Pants
baby.
on or shirt
this
on?
is a baby, buddy.
I'm not talking
Okay,
about the
let me
baby.
make
You
the
want to
point.
talk about babies.
Let me make
I'm just saying, with the baby, you put the shirt on first, then the pants on.
Look,
I had it
Can
backwards.
you go already have a baby so we can get trained on this?
I'm working on it. I'm getting a lot of practice.
Let me give you this part here on what happened. So we're smack talking. Everybody's talking trash to each other. Okay, when you talk trash, what happens? You just have to be ready. Okay, when you're talking trash. So Dylan starts talking trash to Rob.
Yeah.
Dylan, my son. He's like, I pick, you know, such and such to beat Rob.
He picked Donnie to beat Rob.
Donnie
This is
to
in
beat Rob.
the baby laundry folding competition.
So afterwards, Rob wins. And Rob looks at Dylan and says, so you picked Donnie to beat me, huh? I won. And he says, give me one of these. And Dylan didn't.
No, he reacted very negatively.
Furious. It's like, I'm not giving. He just sat down the corner. I said, come here, I got to talk to you.
He had that look on his face.
So I said, come here, I got to talk to you. So he comes and sits next to me. And I'm whispering to him. Here's what I told him. I said, listen, Dylan, here's how life works, okay? If you don't want people to talk trash to you, don't talk trash. If you don't want people to take shots at you, don't take shots. If you don't want people to ridicule you, don't ridicule them. If you don't want that, don't say anything, right? But the moment you do, you have to be ready to know that that person could say something back to you. And if you do, you have a couple choices. To either say nothing or you go back. And it could go back and forth constantly. But that's a choice you got to make. I said, on one end, I'm glad you're not afraid. But on the second end, I want you to be ready that this can happen.
Right.
What's the moral of the story? Kyrie Irving is Dylan. That's simple. Kyrie Irving is Dylan. He's a baby, is what he is. The question that nobody's asking, yesterday ESPN posted something. I wish I could go on my Instagram to take a look at this. Kyrie Irving is a 7-year-old boy right now, okay? I posted on Instagram when they posted a picture of all the people that ran into the floor, spit or done everything, right? I posted a question. I said, all of this is pathetic, but can we ask the one question? Why are fans so upset at NBA players? Why? Or is that an off-limit question? And then, boom, it went off with commentary. Yo, let me guess. You're going to say it's COVID. It's this. It's not that big of a deal. It is that big of a deal. Here's why. Why are the fans upset? Why are they doing this? Why is it all of a sudden? Let me get this straight. You can go for a team that you played, who paid you, you can go take your shoes and smear your shoe on the leprechaun after you won the game, assuming no one's going to see it. What the hell you think is going to happen? These are kids that you did not see this.
No, I didn't see that.
He goes at the end of the game. So imagine this is the Celtics logo with the leprechaun. The leprechaun. He puts his shoe down and he goes like this on the leprechaun.
Kind of like when Terrell Owens did that to the Dallas Star.
To the leprechaun. Then you have this 21-year-old kid who probably grew up watching the Celtics with his dad and his mom, screaming at the screen, being a die, because you know how Celtics fans are, diehard. He's going to take it personal. There's a part of me that I like a fan defending what he stands for. To the point of throwing a water bottle? Absolutely not. That's not acceptable. But listen, Kyrie, why are they upset at you? Maybe you've been rubbing it in their face for the last 12 months that everybody out there that disagrees with you is racist, and they're sick of it. They're just absolutely sick of your unnecessary comments that you're making, and you are sitting here acting like, you don't understand, life is tough, it's really tough right now, and I have to deal with certain things. I'm going to go away and not play a few games, and the team has to pay $20 million every year. Nobody knows where the hell even Durant says, I don't know where you are. Oh, but you can go out there and smear on the thing. I don't know about that. Now, on the Westbrook side, here's the one thing about Westbrook. Westbrook plays hard, and I don't like what happened that one time when the guys were flipping him off when he was, by the sidelines when, I don't know, this was like 4 years ago.
And he'll get into it with fans all the time.
I'm a Westbrook fan, and I think Westbrook is a dog, and I think the league, unfortunately, is not going to have a lot of guys like that. He's one of a kind. He's in a league of his own with the people that are fighting.
Well, he just broke the triple-double record.
But
He's
the
incredible.
question is, why are people upset? You know what happened with Kwame Brown this last weekend? I don't know if you guys have been following the last 2 weeks. What's been happening?
So.
What do you think about what's going on with Kwame?
Well,
What do you think about what's going on with Kwame?
He posted something on social media.
Yeah.
What exactly did he say? I forgot. The former number one pick.
He called out Stephen A. He called out Charlamagne God. He called out Steven Jackson. He called out everybody.
Yeah, I remember reading that thing.
Yeah.
He wasn't very articulate.
He went
not at all.
hard on Matt Barnes.
Yeah,
He has no credibility.
personal.
Who doesn't?
Kwame.
Well, let me tell you what he did say, which I liked. I tell you what he did say, which I like. So he went out there and he said about the fact that, hey, just because I posted something and I said, look at this Candace Brown video, what are your thoughts about it? Everybody thinks I'm racist. I'm just watching the Candace Brown video. Candace Owens video,
okay,
right?
Gotcha.
I'm watching the Candace Owens and what she has to say. And people are calling me, who are you voting for? I'm voting for Trump. Oh, you're not voting for Biden? What are you talking about? And I said, give me his policies. Which policies are you voting for Biden? This guy's going that direction. So then he's saying for the last 13 years, he says, you guys are out there bashing me. He says, Stephen A., I was a 17-year-old kid working under Michael Jordan who was talking trash to me 24/7. I don't know how to handle at 17 years old, how to be having somebody like that that's constantly berating me, right? Kwame's pushing the envelope hardcore. Stephen A. Smith makes a response video.
Oh, I saw that.
I don't know if you saw that or not.
Of course.
Did you see the results on the bottom, though, how many likes and dislikes it got?
I did not.
Have you seen that? Kai, can you pull up that video on Stephen A. Smith with...
Well, he went in on Kwame Brown.
I know
Stephen
he
A.
did.
Smith did not let anything.
I know he
No
did.
holds barred.
But go to YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in Stephen A. Kwame Brown, Stephen A. Smith. That's fine. Kwame is with a K, I think. It's
Kwame.
KW. KW. There you go. Just on
Right
the bottom.
there.
Just
Top,
go down right
top,
there.
Top.
There you go. Click on the first one. But here's what you got to do. You got to do it in a way where, it's going to play and it's going to be, you can't play it. So here's what I want you to do. Okay, we can't do that. Go and look at it yourself. Kai, look at it yourself on your phone and tell us how many likes and dislikes it has.
Kwame Brown responds to ESPN.
I want you to tell me how many likes and dislikes Stephen A.'s video has. I don't know if you can do that. If you can't do that, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
That's the only data I want. Go ahead.
Well, he's going to regret that video.
Who is?
Stephen A.
Tell me why.
Because he's paid to be a commentator and to have opinions,
okay,
and he's never played.
Tell us. Can you say it on the mic so everybody can hear you?
Yeah, are we good?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
So the video has 28,000 likes and 30,000 dislikes.
28,000 likes and 30,000 dislikes, which means most people didn't like what he had to say. If it was an election, the dislikes wins the election. Okay, on the video. And that's not the case with Stephen A.
So they're saying he thinks he should not have said anything.
No,
Shut his mouth.
because the point is, here's a kid that came out 17 years old. You're expecting a 17-year-old kid to have all this pressure. Yesterday, I got a call from one of our guys, and we're having a conversation about somebody that was dealing with anxiety and pressure, and blood pressure went up, right?
Which is a real thing, by the way.
Which is a real thing. By the way, you're seeing what happened with
Naomi Osaka.
Naomi Osaka, dealing with the pressures of the media, all this other stuff, and how that handles. This is one of the reasons why you got to have so much respect for folks who run for office in their 70s. You're talking about Clinton, Trump, Biden, Sanders. These people are in their 60s, 70s running with all the pressure, nonstop trash talking about you, your wife, your kids, it's tough. Your husband constantly.
They're built for that, though. They've been doing it for 40 years.
It's not about they're built for that. At 17, you maybe not. And Kwame had to go through that at 17. Yeah. He was destroyed at 17 years old. Here's a kid that played in the league for 13 years, made $65 million. You tell me any human being that plays, has a job for 13 years, makes $65 million, and you trash him for having 13 years, $65 million of money you make. And they went after the guy. So finally, he just pushed back. He snapped at everybody.
Good for him.
Yeah.
You know,
his podcast is blown up, by the way, Kwame Brown's.
He grew up in the sticks. I mean, he was not exactly a mature young man.
Not a guy you want to piss off, by the way.
Yeah, that. Yeah. And imagine Michael Jordan, the pressure he was putting on that kid, because Michael wanted to prove himself as an owner, as a guy running the team, because frankly, you know, Michael Jordan basically failed as an owner and as a GM so far. I think you could make that argument. So, you know, he put his reputation on the line by drafting Kwame Brown. But Stephen A., I think maybe, you know, he might regret that a little, but he has no choice, right? He can't, he works for Disney. He has to turn this into something where Kwame has to be wrong because everything with them is a black and white issue, literally, especially in the NBA right now. And as far as Kyrie Irving, no chance that they win in the NBA championship because of him. Zero. Even though they have most talent, they're not going to win because of him. The only guy that could get him to play to his potential is LeBron. Right? And LeBron
tell me why
him.
no way they can win it because of him.
Because his mind is not set on being a champion right now. He is set on being a victim and looking up the next thing that he can complain about and realizing how bad his life is. Yeah. And he's got the security of the contract, and he's already won a title.
I don't know if I go that far. I'll go as far as saying he's a terrible player to represent your brand. Like, I wouldn't want him representing a brand. But I think AD just got hurt. Suns are not going to beat him. You know, Utah, it's not going to happen. Who else you got on the Philadelphia? Joe. You know,
whoever's coming out of the East is probably going to be the favorite this year.
Well, Philadelphia, he got hurt. What's his name? Embiid got hurt. You got Milwaukee. I mean, I just don't see it. I think Durant is that good of a player. But to go back to this, this issue here that we're talking about, what the NBA did last year, what the industry of comedy has done for the last decade. What Hollywood has done the last 30 years, what tech has done the last decade, they're going to pay a price for this. I was on an Instagram Live with Jordan Belfort, you know, Wolf of Wall Street, and he was sharing his frustration. I can't understand what's going on. You know, I don't even have a voice. If I say something just because I'm not, you know, a Democrat and I have an opposing view, they're coming after me and they're saying all this. I said, Jordan, that's not how life works. He said, what do you mean? I said, you can't bully people for too long. You just cannot do it. Hollywood's bullied people. Yes. And guess what mistakes they've made? You know who runs Hollywood? You know what people don't realize who runs Hollywood? What ethnicity? What
Chinese?
Yes.
And Jewish.
And Jewish.
Yes,
okay.
Of course. Right.
Do you realize how Jews are being treated right now in America? Do you realize if the Jewish community flips, what happens? If the top 5 producers in Hollywood who are Jewish flip to the other side, what happens all of a sudden? What are they going to say all of a sudden? Do you know what happened to comedy? Comedy, if you make fun of Trump, you have a job. If you make fun of Biden, God forbid, you don't have a job. Comedy is all about on one side right now. It's not both sides. I want to hear both sides of comedy. I want to see somebody make fun of both sides. Comedy, you can't get up there and talk about all the stuff that the left is doing because, God forbid, if you call them out, you're being seen. Yeah, and the same thing's happening with the NBA. And MLB is almost falling forward with Manfred, with what he's doing. But if NBA is wondering why people are pissed off at you, you disrespected half of America. You made half of America feel guilty for a crime they never committed. You know how ridiculous it is to be with somebody that constantly makes you feel guilt for something you never did? Imagine you're dating somebody that constantly blames you for something you never done. Right. How long can you tolerate that?
Not very long.
That's what the NBA is doing. And I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry, Kyrie. I watched this guy play. He's ridiculous. You know that Pepsi commercial with Kyrie who comes in, he dresses like the old man.
From the movie.
Uncle Drew.
Dude, you don't even know how much I love this guy's game. You have no idea how much I love this guy's game. But you have divided America. Yeah. And what you're getting, what you're getting right now, it's not as bad as you think it's going to get. But here's the part. When a year ago people were saying, why are so many people protesting and rioting? Well, why do you think they're rioting? Maybe the black community is upset. You're right. Maybe they are upset. I give them credence why they're upset. Now, to go and loot and destroy businesses? No, I'm not okay with that. But when the shoe flips and now we're given the other side, why do you think people on the other side are upset at you?
Do you think they've run the numbers and realized what's going to happen when some of the money isn't flowing into the NBA anymore? Because that will happen very shortly if it hasn't already. And by the way, I liked Kyrie. I liked him wiping his feet on the logo. I thought that was kind of a little F you to the crowd, whatever. He used to play their little banter, but then you can't have that reaction when someone gets upset that you did it. But I thought it was kind of funny. He kind of subtly just kind of wipes his feet.
But it's okay if you do that. I don't care if you do that. Just be ready.
Yeah.
Be ready if you do that. If you
hustle off the court then.
If
Get
that happens, don't be upset if a prideful, proud fan of the Celtics retaliates, who's a 21-year-old knucklehead. Don't be surprised.
Right.
Okay.
And drunk at the end of the game.
You cannot do that to folks who are that. So now, if the NBA, here's all I'm curious about. We're going to go to the next topic. I'm sure some of you guys that are listening to this, you're like,
But this isn't sports.
This isn't sports.
No, this is, but it's sports impact on society. It's.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying this is pop culture.
Here's what I'm curious about, Adam. This is what I'm curious about, Tom. All I'm watching right now is to see how Adam Silver responds, because that dictates the rest. When the NFL got really ugly in 2017, is because of how Roger Goodell responded to what? Colin Kaepernick. I'm so curious to know how Silver responds to this.
And you've been very clear on what Goodell should have done. He should have called Kaepernick into his office and said, look, let's work this out.
If a person's upset, give him a damn call.
Yeah.
What are you upset about?
Pretending that it was just going to go away was not the solution.
What are you upset about?
Goodell.
Let's have a conversation.
Right.
What frustrates you? Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Let's address it. And then we move on.
Yeah.
Not this whole thing that's taking place right now.
I think you could make the argument, though, that Adam Silver's the second most powerful person in the NBA behind LeBron. I think LeBron dictates so much of this. I mean, I guarantee you he is telling Silver how to handle some of this, and he's involved in this in some way or another. I'm sure of it.
I do agree with you on the LeBron does sort of run the NBA. Silver, obviously, the commissioner, he's there. I do disagree with you that there's a 0% chance that
there's a
Kyrie
zero.
and Brooklyn.
Not happening.
Dude, they are actually literally the favorites to win the championship with Durant and Harden. Now, Embiid just got hurt. Not to get too basketball-y, but they are literally the favorites. So to say they have a 0% chance is just factually inaccurate.
But
however, Kyrie,
the part I'll give him credence to is there are certain players that distract you from the big goal, that create additional type of distractions. I don't mind. You know how sometimes coaches would go out there and they would take the heat, but the heat would take pressure off the players so players can just perform and the coach would take the pressure. This is a different kind of pressure. This is unnecessary attention you bring into the team. Your team's becoming a target. Well, that's what Kyrie's doing, which is not smart.
He's bringing unnecessary attention just by getting a water bottle thrown at him. Like if no one threw the water bottle about him, then he wouldn't have been.
No. You go smear the logo. I'm not a fan of that.
The backstory to that is, and not to get too Kyrie out here, he's had an emotional meltdown of the past few years. Keep in mind, he played for Boston. He got ran out of town.
Why doesn't the NBA say take a year off?
No.
Why doesn't the NBA say take a year off?
Why would the NBA want him to take a year off?
Why wouldn't you want him to take a year off?
Why? What?
Exactly.
I don't think the NBA is going to come in and say, Kyrie, take it easy, buddy. He's got a contract. His general manager.
Here's what I'm going to say to him. You're under this much stress? You're under this much stress. Life is that hard, Kyrie?
I think he literally took 20 games off this year.
No, take an entire year off.
I don't think he's trying to take an entire year off.
Because he wants the money, that's why.
Well, everyone wants the money.
No, but you want the money and without the freedom of having to be responsible for the money that's being paid to you. We got a responsibility.
The point is...
So the fan that bought a season ticket of the Nets, what does he do? The fan that bought a $40,000 courtside season ticket, the fan that bought a $10,000 season ticket with his kids, for 41 games, 36 games.
Well, there were no fans this year for the majority of the season.
What does that fan do? What does that fan do who's saying this guy's not playing? What does the fan do?
Obviously, they want him to play, but I mean, they had Durant that didn't play half the season. They got Harden that wasn't on the team half the season, and he hasn't played.
Anyways.
At the end of the day, I think they're just going to be, it's a playoff. I think they're going to do what they got to do in the playoffs.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.